everybody, Vape Geeks here again today. Today we have a really interesting device. Pretty cool. This is the 722 super wattage system from Shenzhen Greenleaf Technology Company Limited. JC's using it right now with the Aspire Nautilus on top with a 1.8 ohm coil with some GNS grilled pineapple inside. So some really neat things about this device. For one, it is a 26650 device. And I don't know if it's the first regulated device that uses 26650. I doubt it is. But
in case you don't know what the 26650 is,
yeah, JC's going to take it out for you so y'all can get a look. But that's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So
big battery.
In my tests, it's lasting me about 48 hours of use at around 9 to 10 to 11 watts. So now, as you know, with those regulated devices, as opposed to like a mechanical mod, what you set it at, the battery is going to give you that, or I'm sorry, the device is going to give you that wattage from full battery all the way to dead battery. So it does have that advantage over like a mechanical mod. Some things about this device right off the bat. If you're into smaller devices, this is not going to be the device for you. This thing is huge.
And weighty.
It's very heavy as well. It's, I believe, over a pound, 18 ounces. I could be wrong.
Definitely, it feels heavier than the VTR. And
it is heavier than the VTR, yeah. Especially with that battery in it. That being said, it is a very well-built device. It's got some definite quality manufacturing going on with it. So, need to show you the menu system and tear it down for you, show you a little bit of an unboxing. So to do that, we are going to go into uppy closey mode.
So here we go. Alright, into uppy closey we go. We have 722 on the box here, super wattage system and Pioneer for you all on the front. And as we unbox it, it reveals a user manual. Now, with a lot of the products that do come from China, the user manuals are poorly translated into English. With this one, they did a pretty solid job on it. Very useful information in here, just letting you know the basics of the device, the functionalities, how it works, and all that fun stuff. And underneath, we have the device. Right now, I do not have a battery in it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this 26650 battery here next to an 18650. Now, any of you vapors out there know what this battery is, the Sony VTC4 26650 until that, or I'm sorry, 18650. Until 26650 batteries came along for vaping, this was about as big as it got. Now, right next to it there, that is the 26650 that the 722 uses. Huge battery, probably almost twice the size of the 18650. So, yeah, huge battery there. Lots of lifespan on that battery. About how long do you say this thing takes to charge? Just out of curiosity.
Well, it's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and the first time I put it on the charger, I want to say it was 2 to 6 hours. It is significantly longer than like a VTC4 or even the new Purple eFest 35 amp batteries, but it gives me a good 48 hours of solid vaping at 10 to 12 watts with this device. So payoff's pretty decent.
Pretty impressive. Now, if you've watched some of the other reviews out there, some people are saying they're having threading issues with this. I just want to show you guys this really quick. Just spins right off. Buttery smooth threads, at least without the battery in it. You can literally just spin it right back on.
Top cap's about the same way.
Yeah. So there is a point here that Caleb wanted to make, so I'm going to chuck this battery in here and let him take over for a second while I try to get this bottom cap on.
So, as you notice, those threads were pretty smooth. They were fairly silent. It does have some decent threading, but listen to this. So, as you can see, as JC tightened that down on the bottom there, what was happening is the spring was making contact with the metal bottom of that battery, and that's what was causing that squeaking. So, nothing really wrong with the threads, but it's just that spring rubbing on the bottom of the battery that's causing that squeaking issue.
Okay. Fun fact. Fun fact. Yeah, I have no problems with the threads, at least on the bottom cap. They are buttery smooth. So let's go ahead and take an actual look around the device, check out some of the functionalities. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, 5 clicks. You get Pioneer for You on there. Brings up SX220, which I believe is the name of the chip they use in this. I know it's not an actual Evolve chip, but from the specs that I've seen, it performs just as well. So 5 clicks, the device is now on, ready to fire. See, I took the battery out, put the battery back in, and it is still at 10 watts where I was vaping it before. So hopefully you guys can see that 10 watts there. You have your resistance showing at all time on the screen and the voltage output. So lots of good information on there for if you're using it with a rebuildable addy of some sort. Lets you know kind of the specs, what you're running. So 5 more clicks. Gets us into the menu, system on, that turns the device on and off. And then you see the wattage setting here. Now with most devices you use buttons to turn the wattage or the settings up and down. With this it uses what's called the gravity system. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt it right as the screen shuts off. Go back to that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and tilt it, and you'll see that it is adjusting. Tilt it the other way, and we're going back.
Now as you hold that down, it is going to speed up how fast it adjusts the wattage. This device also does not round robin, so that's, you'll have to go all the way up, it stops at 22 watts, go all the way back down, it's going to stop at 7 watts.
Yep. So kind of an interesting, unique menu system here. Next option is exit, and to exit the menu you tilt it away, and now you have your settings set and it's ready to vape once again. Now this does also have a locking feature, so 3 clicks goes ahead and it'll go ahead and you saw that lock pop up, and now it is locked. 3 more clicks.
It's pretty dim.
Ready to fire again. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I do not like about this device, is that when you're not pressing that power button, the screen does dim quite a bit. In daylight, that can present a little bit of a challenge, but as soon as you hit that fire button, it does go back to being nice and bright.
And also you can see on here there is also a battery indicator, which is pretty handy for you too. So I'm going to go ahead and throw an Aspire Nautilus on it. We'll go back out of Uppy Closey. We'll adjust it up and down a little bit, show you the difference in the vape that I'm getting out of it.
Actually, real quick, if you want to throw it on, they should be able to see the screen. Try and zoom in here just a bit closer. As you fire that device, what you'll see is actually some movement on the screen. Some of those numbers are going to jump around just a bit. If you see, the battery indicator goes from almost full down to about half. So that's showing you the true wattage and voltage that it's putting out to your device. So that's kind of neat. Not something that you could necessarily watch while you're vaping, but it is kind of a nice feature.
And it does, with most other wattage devices outside of the DNA family of devices, your settings are usually in half watt increments. This does adjust in 0.1 watt increments. So a little bit more of an ability to dial in, kind of like a variable voltage device on this. So let's go ahead and take it out and have a vape.
All right, so we are back out of Uppy Closey mode with the 722 super wattage, super wattage system mod. Really pretty interesting device. JC, how does she vape?
Well, right now I got it set at 8.5 watts on a 1.8 ohm coil, firing at 3.91 volts to get that. Or no, I'm sorry, that's the battery life, isn't it? 3.91 is the battery life. Firing at 4.05 volts.
No, battery life is 4.05.
Oh.
It's underneath, yeah.
Okay, so
we're still getting used to this mod. It's got a lot going on the screen, so
yeah,
sometimes it's a little bit tricky to remember exactly what you're looking at, but that's what this handy dandy user manual's for.
So anyways, 8.5 watts. Let's take a vape.
And again, this is the Aspire Nautilus, which is one of our favorite tank systems thus far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I almost like the Aspire because you can do the mouth to lung inhale rather than just the straight lung inhale.
Yeah, it's
a nice little change up from time to time.
It is. It's a nice gap filler between RDA and tank system for me.
So that was 8.5 watts, fairly low setting for this device, seeing as how it goes up to 22 watts. Let's bump this thing up a little bit.
Don't go crazy on my Nautilus.
No, I won't burn out your coil. I'm only going to 20 watts. No, I'm just kidding. Let's do 12.5 watts. Exit. So now it is firing at 4.7 volts. Kind of neat that they give you that little extra piece of information on there. So let's have a vape.
And this is straight DC wattage also, which is similar to ProVary.
Obviously, quite a bit more vapor production out of that. You can even hear it crackling down in there a lot louder. Yeah, definitely has quite a bit more punch to it, a lot more heat to it as well. So how far do you think I can push this thing before I burn out your coil?
What's a coil? $2, do it up.
Alright.
Torture test.
Torture test. Let's put this Aspire Nautilus to the test. Let's go to...
I feel bad for my... I love my Aspire.
16 watts. Let's start there.
Just over what your Z-Max is going to be able to do,
yes.
Or your VTR,
So now it is firing at 5.36 volts, 16 watts.
With no pulse width modulation, straight DC power.
Yep, straight DC current. Not burning yet. Definitely a lot warmer.
It is a 1.8 ohm coil, so, and I think it's running at... Is it running just under 2?
Whoop. There's the burnt.
There it is.
There it is. A little bit burnt. Probably wouldn't push it any farther than that. In fact,
now you have to hit it at 22.
Oh, you're gonna.
You have to.
Okay, let me prime it first.
Let's see this. I don't think anybody that's done a review has hit this at 22 watts yet.
At least not in Aspire.
So
can't be any worse than a dry cotton hit.
Yeah, that's also something good to note. Is this device is going to be usable with your RDAs as long as you don't go between below 0.6 ohms. Now that being said, we have had these devices out in the wild that have hit as low as a half ohm, 0.5. So definitely feel free to play around with a little bit. Because it is a regulated device, it's going to be a little bit safer for you to do things like that. But 0.6 is what the book says. We've seen it go down to 0.5. So.
Yeah, in fact, we've done it on this one in particular. At Vape Bash.
At Vape Bash we did. So
here we go.
JC's going to hit it at 22 watts. And
22 watts. Well, can't be any worse than dry cotton, right? 6.29 volts. Do one more primer puff and then I'll take a real one.
I'm excited for this. That was dense. That was a dense little baby cloud.
You know, if you prime it, it doesn't burn right away.
Yeah.
I also took like a 2-second pull though because I'm slightly afraid. No?
Yeah, alright, well now I gotta try it.
Just make sure you prime it up.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually surprised at how well the Nautilus is handling 22 watts. Definitely going to be a huge change to the way that you vape if you're going to do something like this.
Yeah. Kind of slowly. It's kind of a an intermediate between going fully mech and super sub-ohm builds.
I'm surprised. It doesn't look like the coil's burnt out yet. It's still reading it at a healthy 1.8 ohms.
Well, that's
so,
good.
Yeah, wow.
Maybe it was just that one coil that you had on there that we worked out. Maybe it was just old or something.
First time we tried this, I had about a 3-day-old coil, and it was a 1.6 ohm too. That might be the difference. But put it in, vaped it at, what were we at, 18 watts, I think, just playing around, and burn.
Gone.
Did not like it at all.
Yeah.
But that's handling pretty well. I'm actually pleasantly surprised.
Definitely.
So if you're okay with taking those huge primer hits, 2, 3, 4 of them before you actually hit your device, and then only doing like a 2 to 3 second hit.
Yeah, I wouldn't just jump into it and puff on it at 22 watts.
And we did it 4 times. We didn't do this for a week.
Yeah.
This is the first time we tried vaping the Nautilus this high. So.
Yeah. Pretty surprised it kept up though.
Yeah, so another
killer tank.
Thumbs up for the Nautilus.
Yeah,
and a huge thumbs up for this device. This is really, I mean, the Pravari is pretty much this device with...
a little bit less power.
Yeah, I mean, it only goes to 15 watts. It's also got a smaller battery. This is 4,000 milliamp hours. And like I said, I got a solid 48 hours vaping on only this device, right around 10, 11 watts. So, pretty impressive.
The Pravari actually, I don't know what its amp limitation, or its wattage or amperage limitation is. I know it fires up to 6 volts, but it won't do that on everything. So,
wow, that's heavy.
And I mean, okay, if you know anything about the DNA devices that are currently out there, the Evolve DNA chip, DNA 20s, DNA 30s, Hanamods, ZNAs, there's tons of them out there, Vapor Shark. Their price points are all a little bit, you know, they're going to make your wallet cry a little bit. This guy right here, what are we running for in town, Caleb?
You know what, actually, big shout out to Plumes in Omaha. They hooked us up with this device for testing and evaluation and for video review. So I am going to go ahead and share their price point. On the internet, first let's start there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this on the internet lower than $129.99.
Yeah.
So I was extremely surprised to see it at Plumes for $119.
Yeah.
That's a really good price point, and I assume that has something to do with bulk buying or something, but they're able to offer that amazing price. I would say snag one up while you can get it at that price. I don't know how long that's going to last. Hopefully forever, because we all like slightly cheaper prices. But yeah, $119 at Plumes. And while they don't do internet sales right now, if you call them or email them, they will send this out to you at that price, obviously plus a little bit of shipping. So even if you're not in town and you want a device like this and you don't want to pay $129, Plumes, myplumes.com.
Yep. And, you know, another interesting thing to add to this, as well as the price point, is, you know, we were talking about the VTR a while ago, right? And you remember how I said China's stepped up their game? They've stepped up their game again. And
Absolutely.
I think, you know, before too long, they're going to have some of the most desirable devices out there before too long.
It's very possible. And it's
I like seeing them making their own stuff.
Yeah, and
we had the clone talk. I like clones. Clones are a good thing. But I'm even more excited when something new and innovative comes out of a company rather than something that we've already seen.
Yeah, which this is not a clone whatsoever.
Not at all. It's its own chip and everything.
I do like, too, how it's got kind of, people sort of call it a landing pad, but it's similar to the Cyborg, is it? From
the Cyborg.
And it fits great. You know, wherever you land on this, as opposed to kind of searching around for a button, you feel that landing pad. It's almost like a, I forget the analogy I was going to make, but your finger immediately is going to be able to find that button. So it's really nice, and it doesn't slip off either. One thing I do agree with, People Stardom also did mention that the finish on this is a little slippery. Yeah, it will. I mean, you don't have to death grip this device, but if you're not careful, I feel like it could slip out of your hands.
And a lot of that has to do with the weightiness of it, with that 26650 inside and the size of the device itself. It's weighty.
It's very weighty. I guarantee it's over a pound.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite. With tank and battery, probably.
Close. Right around the VTR. Maybe a tiny bit heavier than the VTR.
So that is the 722 mod. It's going to get a thumbs up from me. JC?
Thumbs up for sure. Again, very, very, very excited to see new innovative stuff coming out of a place that's kind of known for cloning things.
Not just innovative, not just new, but quality innovative.
Definitely, definitely.
Everything from the chip to the way the device is designed to the materials used to build it, absolutely on par with any of these American-made devices. So, very nice device. All right, guys, that's going to be it for us today. We are the Vape Geeks.
That was a little burnt.
It finally happened. There it was. It's still 1.8 ohms, though.
Yeah, it's still 22 watts at 1.8 ohms, but yeah, primer puffs if you're doing that one, kids.
All right.
Anyways, I'm JC.
I'm Caleb.
Stay strong and vape on.
Bye.